shiny stone. See, I didn't know that, but it's good. It's good that I have so many subscribers that know stuff. I thought that it means little stone, but apparently little stone would mean kleine stone rather than Liechtenstein. I mean Kleinestein. Right, welcome to the show. We're going to be talking about something very interesting today, which happened, and also the way the German media reported about it. The German media. If you want to know what the German media is, I want you to close your eyes, imagine CNN, and dial it to 11. Like, calling it CNN on steroids is an affront to steroids. German media is in a league of its own. So, let me see if I can find out the event that happened. Here we go. Right. This is from Die Zeit. Do you know what Die Zeit means? This is why you need to speak Nazi. It means the time. Right. So, let me show you. Right. Here we go. So, according to the German media, the time, it happened in Nigeria, right? In a village in Nigeria. Now, I understand that this is not the Middle East. It's not the Ukraine, right? Russia isn't involved. So America probably doesn't report on it. Like, you're not going to see many left-leaning people with their various flags and paraphernalia and acronyms in the bio supporting the village in Nigeria. Like, no, this is like, nah. If it doesn't get reported, it doesn't exist, right? So what happened in Nigeria? Well, I'll tell you what happened, according to the Zeit. I mean, this is like a level of disingenuous journalism that I don't think I ever seen even in the American media. On Christmas Eve, right? It's in German. It's Heiligabend. I had to translate this from German. So if any Deutsche people in the chat, tell me if my translations are wrong. But Heiligabend, it means holy evening. 17 Christians were raided by Muslim terrorists. Sorry, 17 Christian villages. 17 villages of Christians were raided by terrorists in Christmas Eve, and at least 140 Christians were killed. The videos were quite brutal. Too brutal for Twitter as well. Like, they were harrowing. I don't understand like why this is being banned. I do think that people need to see carnage so that they don't want war. I do believe that the more people are exposed to this stuff, like they want it to not happen, right? Because too many people play Call of Duty, they watch a lot of American movies, and when they're looking at the conflict with Ukraine, it's like, oh, NATO needs to go in, let's start World War III. You know, like they do that on the internet, it's crazy. And I feel like if they were to see the reality of what carnage looks like, they would be more like, you know what, like maybe we should have some peace talks, maybe we should... But anyway, right, so the event, again, on Christmas, Holy Evening, right, 17 villages were raided by Muslim terrorists, and 140 people were killed. The German Zeit, left-wing newspaper, the Zeit, writes, on Christmas Eve, people with weapons, right, all of a sudden it's ambiguous, people with weapons raided 17 villages in Nigeria, according to official sources. There are land disputes in the region, which are intensified through the climate crisis. You think I'm bullshitting, right? You think, no fucking way, V. No, that is... Look at this, you bigot. Right? This is like, literally. It says so here. Klimakrise. No, what is it? It's on the screen. It's like Klimakrise, right? Klimakrise. These people are insane. You know, like, right-wingers do not have the ability to create such beautiful conspiracy theories. Alex Jones himself, if I lock Alex Jones in a room and I tell him you don't get to come out until you write better conspiracy theories than the fucking Zeit, he's going to be locked in there forever. He doesn't have the ability. Like, dude, is this what the science, is this what the science has said? I think this is maybe what do they call it? The scientific consensus, right? This is what the scientific consensus must say. It's like the climate crisis is causing problems in Nigeria, huh? Men with guns, they just appeared. Out of the ether, they materialized. This is like, is this like something that they borrow from Putin? Because I think like, Putin was like little green men, right? It's like, well, we don't know. They just popped up. It's like little green men. Is it the same propaganda? It's like men with guns. Land disputes. American Outlier. Hy-Vee, how's your day? Is this about the farmers? No. It's not about the farmers. I mean, some of them may have been farmers in Nigeria. I mean, they were in villages. Usually people in villages farm. But this is Nigeria we're talking about, so I genuinely do not know. Maybe they were hunters. You know, some people are hunters, other people are gatherers. What I do know is that they were celebrating Christmas. Why even add the men part? It's obviously the guns, yes. If only the Democrats would be able to take over Nigeria, they could have averted this. They could have said, no more guns, no more assault weapon rifles, ghosts of war, and yeah. Disgusting, by the way. Like, I have never seen a worse case of yellow journalism. My favorite part, because you get to see that they're trying to weave this talking point of the climate causing literally everything. Like, the climate now is Satan. Right? It is the devil. Everything bad that's happening is because of the climate. I am willing to bet there is a CNN anchor that wakes in the middle of the night to take a piss, and he accidentally hits his little toe, his pinky finger, he hits it on the furniture, and he starts screaming and blames the climate. You're referring to the Christian massacre in Nigeria. Some of those clips from the radicals were literally folding people like chairs, broken bones. Yes, I know. This is again, it's horrible, right? I understand that the Western media doesn't want to report it because, you know, it doesn't really tie in to any of the political narratives. But if you do report it, don't be like the German site. Horrible newspaper, Jesus Christ. But anyway, right, there were last year there were immigrants coming into the United States illegally. And they were saying, oh, it's the climate. And I think like Fox News pointed out that the place where they're coming from was actually colder than the US. I mean, you know, like this thing with the climate, it's such bullshit, isn't it? It's like you're telling me that there are people that live in the Middle East and they have no problem with the climate, but like within the same country, like that. Now, come on, you know, like Jesus. Imagine if the news anchor stabs his toe accidentally, hits his iPhone, and auto-spells the next news. I wouldn't be surprised. Like, maybe he hits enter on the ChatGPT prompt. And then it comes up better than... Like, ChatGPT wouldn't be able to write something like that. I am willing to bet... You know what? Hold on. For the sake of the argument. I want to see if ChatGPT is capable of tying the climate to this. Let's see. Let's see if ChatGPT can do it. Do you guys think they can? I don't know. It's interesting. So, how do I phrase it? How do I make the prompt? In a movie, couple of villagers are gunned down by terrorists. This is happening in Nigeria. Both. The real reason is religious in nature. However, a news anchor wants to blame it on climate change. How can he do that? ChatGPT says that there is no way. There is no historical precedence. It is easier to blame it on direct religious reference. apparently, like, the only way to do it is to highlight resource scarcity. But even then, if you and the resource scarcity is due to deforestation and drought. But like even then, it doesn't explain. Okay, so if there's resource scarcity, why is it so one-sided? Like wouldn't both of the groups be violent? Like why is only one group? No, even ChatGPT says. ChatGPT says it's important to note that even in the unlikely case the climate change can be a contributing factor to conflict, oversimplifying complex issues or ignoring key aspects like religious or ethnic tensions can be misleading and potentially harmful. Balanced and accurate reporting is crucial in the news. Like when even woke GPT is telling you, it's like, look, I'm as woke as the next German, but like, come on, you know, like just. Yeah, like literally, I can see ChatGPT going like, "That is not logical. that is illogical." What did they do to ChatGPT? It sounded sane. No, I asked him something so insane that even ChatGPT was bewildered. Like even woke GPT was baffled. I mean, it's got its limits. It's got its HR hacks that are trying to put poison in its brain. And is trying to wokeify it, but even ChatGPT at some point is going to say, alright, well, no, you know, people will stop respecting me if I churn out this garbage. Another $12 and he can buy the Lada. I see. Right. Wait, oh, we wanted to talk about heels versus babyface today. Yeah. Man, I'm getting gaslit so fucking hard on social media, chat. I don't think I ever got gaslit so hard. To be honest, it's also the number of people that do the gaslighting, because for some reason my post went viral. I think I got like 2 million views. Let me check again, like how many, because there was like a significant number. A lot of cope and seething over me posting that heel versus babyface did nothing wrong, right? So people are absolutely, but 5 million views. 5 million fucking views and they're coping. Oh my god, like look at this. Look at this level of copium. Chat, look at it. This is all I said. It's like he tried to warn us and they hated it because he told the truth. 5 million views. Holy shit. Right, so the level of gaslighting is off the charts. I think they brought in the Canadians. Like, the Canadians are masters of gaslighters. They gaslight themselves. But, they're like, well, Baldur's Gate 3. Baldur's Gate 3 exists, and therefore Starfield is okay. I think that Baldur's Gate 3 was Game of the Year. Naruhodo. What other games came out this year, by the way? Oh, almost none, because all of them were broken at launch, weren't they? All of them were Starfielding. To be fair, Starfield actually worked on launch, so I guess like that's a bonus, right? Like if your game actually launches on launch, it's considered good. I do believe firmly, vehemently, I believe that the gaming awards are just PR stunts. Like, ironically, when you tell me about like game awards, that it's not a competition. Not to mention, how can it be a competition? I thought that art is subjective, chat. They told me art is subjective. You can't. So if art is subjective, how can it be a competition? But in reality, game awards are commercials. They're marketing strategies. They're not like no. I don't believe it. I don't think so. Right? Like by what metric? By what? The fact that a video game manages to win Game of the Year, I don't fucking care. Now, the thing with Baldur's Gate 3, this is what's interesting about it, and I'll show you in a bit. And many people are upset when you point it out, but hey, you know, the truth is the truth. You can't handle the fucking truth. When the game started, I mean, maybe some of the people were woke, but many of them weren't. So when I got the game, I remember like what was it, like 2 or 3 years ago it came out, and it was early access, like you couldn't finish it, and it wasn't woke at all. It was just like another Larian game. It was like Divinity Original Sin, no wokeness. And then after like 1.5 years, it started getting woke, and they were talking about pronouns in the bio, and they were talking about like they introduced characters that were saying woke shit. And I want to show you something very interesting, right? Just to prove that I'm right. This one was taken from the original game files. Like they managed to data mine the original Shadow Moon. And this is the wokeification. So you now have a mod which reverts her back to the original. And this is where they Mary Janed her. This is the Mary Janation. And many such examples. So my point is, when this game started, it didn't have the woke brigade. But somewhere during the middle they did, and this is why Act 3 is so shit. Act 1 and 2 is good. Act 3 is shit. Now you're going to say, well, what does woke have to do with it? What do pronouns have to do with it? What does Shadow Moon's jawline has to do with it? And the answer is very simple. Woke people cannot create. The ideology itself, the belief that meritocracy is evil, like, I'm sorry, if you're not going to hire people based on how good they can make games, you're not going to make good games. You're going to have an Act 3, which on my computer that I run with a 390 RTX Ti was unable to complete. It was buggy. It was broken. The game would often freeze. And I know, like, someone would be, well, why I played it on my computer and it never froze once. There are entire pages after pages of Steam forums with people pointing out that Act 3 is broken. So shut the fuck up with your gaslighting. Another thing about Baldur's Gate 3, and I'll point this out, it's very interesting. Did you notice how all the men have pristine faces and all the women have scars? Did you notice that? I think like this shit started with Dragon Age 3, Dragon Age Inquisition. I'm sure like someone will find the man with the scar, right? And of course like Will probably is the best example. But if you are to take like a piece of paper, you play this game with a notebook, right? And every single time you see a woman with a scar, you draw a line on the notebook, and every single time you see a man with a scar, you draw a line. I guarantee to you, by the end of it, you're going to have like a list filled with women that have scar on their faces. I mean, this is a fucking video game. It's fictional. You can choose not to put the scar there. Why do you keep doing it? I get it on 1 or 2 characters, but come the fuck on. It is a constant struggle to figure out what the shonen genre needs in order to remove it. It's like, what you know, they're thinking, okay, the 18-year-old man, what does he like? Like we desperately need to focus to figure out what he likes so that we can remove it. Heaven forbid we allow a single thing that an 18-year-old like. I do not understand this fascination with Baldur's Gate 3. It's a good game, but it's not going to be a classic. If you think this is a classic, go play Mass Effect. Go play Mass Effect. Okay, go play some actual games that came back in a year where there was competition. There was no competition this year. It's like the new Shadowheart more, but MJ is a troll. Yes. Still no V? I'm here. I'm here. They increased Shadowheart's head size. No, they gave her the chin. Like if a woman doesn't have a jawline that can cut diamonds, then she's not strong enough. Not to mention, right? The thing that I dislike the most, because a lot of people go, it's like, well, what's up with the pronouns? Pronouns this, pronouns that. Like, why do you care? In the case of Baldur's Gate 3, it literally damages the game. No one cares about your pronouns anyway. Like throughout the entire game, no one referred to me as he or she. Right? Like when you choose the pronouns in Baldur's Gate 3, it's irrelevant. They always use neutral ways to refer to your character. Right? So the pronouns, I don't even get what the point is. But then, you notice that every single character is player-philic. Like, literally, every single NPC wants to fuck you. For no reason whatsoever. I mean, I remember, like, playing many RPGs in my life. From Dragon Age to Baldur's Gate 2 to many others. You know, there's some flirting involved. Like, first they try and they test the water. And if you're acting interested, then they push a little bit more. And at any point through the relationship, you can say something that puts it off and, you know. But in the case of Baldur's Gate 3, like, all of a sudden, I have Gale coming up to me with a raging boner, assuming that I'm gay. And I'm like, well, why would you make this assumption, Gale? Well, what led you to believe this? And he gets very pouty faced when I turn him down as well. And I'm like, you know, Gale, didn't you fuck a goddess or something? Like, weren't you Mystra's lover? And it's like, okay, you know, it happened with Gale. Okay, well, it happened with Astarion as well. Comes up to me, wants to suck me. And I'm like, no, Astarion, stop it. Stop it, you naughty boy. I am straight. Super straight. I am so straight that it concerns the ADL. Right? So Astarion goes like, oh, well, okay. Then I get into a relationship with Shadowheart. Not because I like Shadowheart, but because there was nothing better to pick from. You know? So it is what it is. I felt like a sexy girl in high school. Before the internet. Like, you don't get to pick who you want. You settle. You settle. So I settled for Shadow, but okay. Now I got, like, the muscular druid. Hastarion, or whatever the fuck. Comes up to me and starts suggesting, hey, you know, why don't you have a threesome? Why don't you bring Shadowheart so I can bang her while you watch? I'm like, I'm not a cockmate. Why would you even assume? And the fact that I don't even have the option to kick him out from my camp. Like, that would be incredibly offensive, you know? Like, in the normal world. Like, if we were actually role-playing at a table, right? Like, we're actually playing pretend and we're causing immersion. Imagine this, right? Like, you're with your girlfriend, you're in a relationship, and this guy comes up and goes like, hey, why don't you bring your girl over here so we can fuck her? Like wouldn't that trigger a little bit of, I don't know, animosity? One of the biggest scams in modern gaming is the idea that procedure generation means more content, when in reality most devs use it as an excuse to be lazy and give you a middle wide sandbox without sand. Yeah, like, this is why I hate open world games. You know, there are very few open world games that are actually good. Most open world games are absolute shit. For the reasons you just mentioned. Good point on Gale. Astarion leaves you alone after that first suck, but Gale keeps trying. Yeah, no, it was so fucking obnoxious. And the thing that I don't understand is, like, I'm not even a female character. It's like, why is Gale, like, you know, if I try to hit on a woman, and she tells me that she's a lesbian, I leave her the fuck alone. I'm like, okay, well, I understand, naruhodo. Right, but no, Gale, nope. You don't even have the option. Like, this is what pissed me off. You don't even have the option to tell Gale you don't swing that way. I wish I left Gale back into that stone. I definitely do. You know, next time, if I'm ever going to play this game for every reason whatsoever, I'm going to live in the fucking stone where he spawns from. Like, no. One-player open world games suck. You're supposed to play with friends. I don't have any fucking friends. And the ones that I do, they play LGBT games like Mountain Blade. And what else do they play? Borrow Trauma and some other shit. They don't play this. I don't play Minecraft either. You ever think that the Western game companies will ever make a character like Emma from Sekiro? You know what? Like, again, I'm telling you that there is this game. It's not Western. It's called Path of the Righteous. Pathfinder, Path of the Righteous, right? It's made by Owlcat Games. Like, they were into some controversy. A lot of people, they start the game and there's like a lesbian romance in the beginning, so many people think it's woke. But if you push on, if you manage to actually play the game, they have some of the most amazing characters that I have seen in an RPG. Like most RPGs, you know, they have one or two characters that you like and remember. Like, for example, in Mass Effect, you got Tali'Zorah. In Dragon Age, you have Morrigan. Like you know, you get like some characters that are interesting. Dude, this game had 4 fucking characters that were memorable, and one of them was a guy. Like, very rarely does a male character from an RPG impress me. It's kind of annoying because I forgot his name. He was a gnoll. And he's lawfully evil as well. But he is so well made. Oh, my God. Yeah, no, you got Aru Eshal, a succubus. Like she has a very interesting story arc. You got this rogue guy. You got Ember, like a character that's genuinely good, which is something that's very rare to find in a RPG nowadays, because everything has to be with shades of gray and complex. No, not Lan, not Geralt. But anyway, right, this game, I would 100... Regil. Yes, Regil. I 100% recommend this game. It is one of the best games that I have ever played. I don't know, I would consider that to be Baldur's Gate 3. It didn't win a gaming award, interestingly enough. To be fair, it had a lot of bugs on launch. Nothing game-breaking, but it was buggy. You know, it was a rock start launch. Why don't you talk about how broken Rogue Trader is past Act 3? Well, Rogue Trader didn't win Game of the fucking Year, did it? Not to mention, I'm not playing it, so I wouldn't know. Everyone tries to gaslight you on Twitter about absolutely every point you make. Don't let up, V. I will never let up, Eric. I will never let up because I know that I'm right. I am a 77-year-old disabled veteran and deserve to talk without censorship. Is this true? Let me tell you about what happened to a disabled veteran, speaking of which. Like, this was very... How do you put it? Omoshiroi. Omoshiroi. So, listen to this. I mean, this was absolutely hilarious when I read it in the news. Hilarious in a dark sense of humor way, right? Not necessarily... So, Arizona military veteran. Arizona Military Museum closes after Vietnam veteran, like someone who fought in Vietnam, okay, is still alive today. So the veteran said, eventually they will replace me with some gay black woman, woke Jewish person, and claimed mannequin with hand on its hip represents gay soldiers. So they proved him right, and they literally did replace him by shutting down the museum. Now, you know, like he was very offensive. I get it. Out of line. But is he wrong? I mean, look at Netflix. Right? They are replacing historical characters. Look at the BBC. They took Isaac Newton and made him Latin. Yeah, when you see these things happening in the world, and the gaslighting is that they don't or they're very rare. But like a person that looks at this and they see them. And they're like, well, you know, I am concerned that in the future they will replace my achievements as well. Like, you're not against representation, right? Like, if they were to make more movies about the Zulu Empire, hell, I would watch that as well. Like, that would be cool, wouldn't it? Like take some folklore from Africa, take some stories from there, and make videos and movies about... That would be fucking cool, wouldn't it? No one complained about Black Panther. I mean, that's cool, right? Like, but what people complain is when you take stuff that happened and you race swap, you gender swap, you know, like for example, what was it? Call of Duty. Right, Call of Duty, World War II. You play as a woman carrying an MG42 on your back and you're jumping like Spider-Man across the walls and shit. And I'm that argument is always going to be, well, yes, but there were female soldiers in the Soviet army. How many of them were carrying MG42s on their backs? You know, the thing that really pisses me off, it's also, even if it was a guy, like World War II, in my opinion, and this is, I'm not advocating for censorship or anything, but I'm saying like how I genuinely feel. I believe that when you deal with war, especially in a video game, you shouldn't really go all out and glorify it. I mean, like maybe some video games should do that. But like when you're doing it in every single title and you're making it like it's the best thing ever, it's kind of tasteless, doesn't. Now, I played the Call of Duty, the first one, that treated the World War II, the battle for Stalingrad. And oh my god, it was amazing. I mean, the music was there. It made you actually feel like it's life or death, and that if you die, all the civilians that you're trying to protect die as well. It was a really great and a really immersive story, and it was like a lot better than the new garbage that they did, the Call of Duty Vanguard. Oh, look, you're playing as a Japanese person on the side of the Allies. Like, fucking why? I'm not saying that wasn't any, but is this like representative of, huh? It's like playing a game about Martin Luther King life and you play as an Asian guy. It's like, why? Why would you do that? Makes no sense. Yeah, imagine if they make a movie out of me in the future, and they cast me as I don't know, a chubby South Korean dude, huh? There was a World War II game that gave you a name and date of death every time you died. That's interesting. I didn't know about that. Modern Warfare 3 Reboots campaign is absolute dog water. Man, like, they don't know how to make good stories. Do you know there was actually a game which did a female character in a war right? I think it's called Iron Heart. Let me just see if I'm correct, because I don't want to be mistaken about this. No, it's not Iron Heart. The game is about mechs. Oh yeah, no, it is Iron Heart. Yeah. Is it? It's like a World War I game, but you don't have tanks, you have mechs. And it's like this low level, low tech. It's really cool, right? But the story is about this fictional country which is modeled after Poland. And you play as a woman and she's a sniper. And she has to find her brother. Her brother was missing and she goes on a quest to find him. Rallies with a group of... they're not really deserters. I guess like there's some form like a paramilitary group, like some freedom fighters type of thing. And they respect her because she's the sister of that guy, which was like a national hero, and then she starts proving herself by her abilities. But throughout the entire thing, like, she just keeps talking how awful the conflict is, and how she just wants to live a peaceful life, and she prays that her parents are safe. And this is like, yeah, no, that's what a human being would do, right? Like to me, that humanized the character, made me empathize with her and her struggle. Because I was like, yeah, no, this is relatable. Yeah, holy shit, like, if this actually happened in my country, and, you have, like, all these people coming up, and they're burning the place and destroying everything. Yeah, that's nightmarish. Yeah, I would probably pray that my family is safe in this situation. So, the reason that I'm saying this is important is that if they would have casted, like, the average Hollywood chica, I mean, the average Hollywood chica would enjoy being in combat. She wouldn't give a single fuck about her family or anyone else. She would probably find another lesbian girl from the Russian army, and she would have, like, hot lesbian sex with her. And of course, like, she wouldn't need no man. Like she by herself would destroy all the Russian platoons that are coming over. and she would curse every single line. Like, she would use fuck as a punctuation sign. Yeah, like that. That's what Hollywood would do. Anyway, her brother Janek, yeah, Janek was teaches her strategy in a snowball fight. Yeah, it's one of the cutest tutorials, and the whole reason it works is that it establishes that there's a connection. There's just like the human element between her and Janek. So when Janek goes missing, like, she's actually willing to go look for him, despite the fact that she's going on a battlefield. It's a really nice written story. I doubt that sweet baby is capable of writing something like that. Um. Anyway. Yeah, I am picking my nose. I'm sorry about that. I didn't realize I was on camera. It's due to the fact that I have an allergy, and it's incredibly infuriating. Like, I thought that I could resist through it, but apparently I can't. Oh, I wasn't on camera. I closed the camera. Why are you gaslighting? Everyone is gaslighting. Oh, Dios mío. There's this guy, right? And he's got. I'll just post this. You know, I don't want to give the man any credit. I don't want to. How do they say, platform bigots? I don't want to platform bigots on my channel, but it's got like this lame thing. Love miniatures, hate fascismus, right? And this guy is all about gatekeeping people from Warhammer 40k hobby. But he's about gatekeeping people like Arch, and Arch is about gatekeeping people like him, so it's funny. But what am I going with this? Okay, I will tell you a secret, chat. I will tell you a secret. I grew up in Romania. And since I grew up until now, I think, yeah, it's been like 37 years, but like, let's not say 37, right? Because I haven't started getting hobbies until I was 6, okay? So let's say, like, for 31 years of my life, of my existence, every single time I joined a hobby in my country, it was never about political ideology or what are your personal beliefs or any shit like that. No, when you joined the hobby, it was all about the hobby. It's only, and from what I noticed, in the United States, it's also the same. Like, in the United States, all the way up until 2016, it was, if you want to join a goth, like, if you wanted to become a goth, like, no one would care. You know, if you're a Republican or a Democrat, no one would care if you're religious or an atheist. No one would give a shit, right? Like, when you were out there with the goth kids, you talked about goth music, goth fashion, and personal problems, but, like, that's pretty much it. You know, like every single community, you had, like, these subsections of community, and it was fucking wholesome. However, in 2016, for some fucking reason, now it's like, well, no, like, we're keeping out fascists. And there's fascists everywhere, in every single fucking hobby. Everywhere is fascism. And it's only the same people that come up making the same problems. They find fascismus everywhere except within. And now the hobby isn't about the hobby. Now it's like, why don't we have female space marines? Why do these characters have such big tits? Why do these characters are all of the same skin color? Like, can we bring a Nazi over here so we can study their genetics? Why are you against me? Oh, you're against me? You must be a fascist, don't you? I mean, it got to the point where you would join a fucking knitting community on Reddit, and instead of talking about, like, the double knot or whatever knitters do, it was a conversation about fascism and Trump's immigration policies. And you notice that every single community started being like that. To the point that there were no more communities anymore. Like, whether you joined the Goths or whether you joined the Warhammer community or the comic books or the video games, it was the same talking points everywhere. The same old tired talking points. 2 scoops of ice cream, kids in cages. And I'm like, Who invited these people? Why do these people have so much fucking power? Like literally, who was the twat which gave this person moderation privileges and why? Like, why did you give them? Oh, and it was usually like what happened in the beginning. It was usually, there were many ways actually. It was financially, right? Like, the literally websites were bought off. So like, if you had a website where you had like a gaming community or something that was surrounding comics, you would have someone with money buying it away from you. And once they bought it off, they would be like, okay, well, we're in charge now, so we're progressives, by the way. Another way was like, all of a sudden, the owner of the site would be Me Too'd. Right? A perfect example was the owner of NeoGAF. Like, the owner of NeoGAF, my god, NeoGAF was such a blatant takeover. And the interesting thing is that NeoGAF was already a far-left website. I mean, it was one of the worst cancers that the internet has ever seen. It was more left than Tumblr, chat. It was a disgusting den of far-left radical activists that happened to talk about video games. And NeoGAF managed to create a website that was even worse than that. Like, I never thought that anything worse can exist, and then Reset Era came along. But anyway, right, so the way it happened is that most of the moderators were in on it. They created the website Reset Era, and then the moderators that had access to the website, to NeoGAF, they took it down, and they managed to keep it down for a couple of days so that the migration can start. You can't be more left than Tumblr, dude. My brother in Christ, what are you talking about? Go to Reset Era. Do you know they ban people on Reset Era just to keep other people in line? Like, I'm not kidding. Like, even Stalin, I don't know if he did that. Like, to execute, like, a random person just to keep everyone else afraid. They literally say that. Like, we're banning you for the sake of, like, keeping the community. You can always be more left. Just gaze into the abyss. I think, like, the most leftist people are the ones that are anti-human. Like the environmentalists, right? And the environmentalists are like, well, yeah, but, like, we humans are the problem, so we need to stop making kids, right? Like that. Death is the greatest equalizer, isn't it? So like, when you're at that level, I mean, you're going to achieve equality. Yes, like, if no one has kids and humanity doesn't continue, that is, like, the greatest equalizer. That is, I think, like, that is peak leftism. I don't think you can get more left than that. Yeah, the anti-humanists, exactly. Like, that is... Yeah, there is no Archcast today, by the way. I forgot to mention. Arch did mention that... He's watching a movie with a friend. I wanted to go on the Archcast to have a conversation with Dev, because, like, many events unfolded. For instance, Donald Trump was taken off the ballot from Maine. And I was curious how Dev is going to justify that. And I believe, like, the way he justified it was to invoke the constitutional amendment of insurrection. You don't need the same standard of proof. Like, the burden of proof for accusing someone of being an insurrectionist is a lot lower than, you know, having a trial with a jury of your own peers and to prove it beyond the shadow of a doubt. So my counter argument to Dev was, well, you know, my burden of proof to believe that the US government is corrupt and is suffering from systemic corruption is a lot less lower than having a jury of your own peers and prove it beyond the shadow of a doubt. Hello V, says SRC Maker. Happy New Year's. It's not New Year, stop gaslighting me. In case I don't speak with you before then, hope you and the rest of you bigots have a very happy and healthy, prosperous 2024. I don't know how prosperous it's going to be. You're gaslighting, aren't you? Like, you work in a place where you should know better. You should know better about the economy. The economics. Yeah, economics. You should know better economics. I can't. What is happening with me? Why can't I say it? You should know economy better. There. Fucking hell. Why was that so hard? Invite Dev over for a chat. Well, that's the thing, like my statement, like my thesis, and this is what I told Short Fat Otaku, is that if social media censors something, it's probably true. Unironically, like if social media, because he asked me, it's like, well, how can you believe that the United States isn't corrupt? And I was like, very simple. If you make a video claiming that the US isn't corrupt and YouTube takes you down, I will fucking believe it. I will be like, no, US 100% not a corrupt government. Think about it, all right? Like, let's look at social media's history. Let's look a little bit about its history, right? Kyle Rittenhouse. When it happens, not only does he get banned from all of the social media websites, but if you were to defend him, if you were to go on Facebook and say, you know what, I think that Kyle acted in self-defense. If you were to say that, you'd get banned. Black Lives Matter. If you'd have gone and you'd said that it's a corrupt organization and, there's a lot of money laundering going on, you'd get canceled. Hunter Biden laptop story. It got suppressed. And we know that the FBI requested that. What else do we have? It came from a lab. Do you remember that? That was also banned. Right? Every single time, and I'll say this, and I'm a bigot regarding it. You can't persuade me any other way. And if more people thought like me, there would not be censorship. Every single time, something that's legal to talk about, right? So we're not talking about instigating, we're not talking about crimes, right? Like legal to talk about. If you go outside and you talk about it, there are no consequences. So every single time there is something legal to talk about that gets banned on social media, I will believe that it is true. I don't fucking care what it is. If they ban it and it's legal to talk about it, I will think, no, like this is 100% true. If they ban Alex Jones, I will think that everything Alex Jones says is the gospel of Jesus fucking Christ. This is the mindset that I have from now on. It's very simple. It's not difficult. Don't like it? Tough. But if everyone thought like me, I guarantee to you they wouldn't censor. Remember the US code for insurrection, it requires beyond a reasonable doubt standard to be found guilty. It is a criminal offense. Yeah, but I think like they're making a difference between the criminal offense and I guess like what would that even be? An accusation? I don't know if it's even an accusation. It's more like the inability of a person to run for office. Like you're theoretically stripping him of his citizens' rights to run for office. And it's not even like they're not stripping him of the right to be president. They're stripping him of the ability to get primaried, right? So in Colorado, the Colorado GOP said that if they do this, they will become a caucus and they will nominate Donald Trump on the ballot without any sort of competition. Like just, they will put him on the ballot regardless. Sounds like Dev thinks that the system says Trump is guilty and Trump must be proven to be innocent. No, it's more like, again, like Canadians are experts of gaslighting. They are such experts that they like to gaslight themselves. They literally believe that the government is benevolent. It's working as intended. I don't know what to say. I'm a lot more cynically oriented. There is this thing in law which is called probatia et diabolica, which means literally the opposite. It means prove me that you're innocent, right? And you use this when a person like has a huge track record of constantly lying, constantly being disingenuous, right? And you're basically like using this, like, prove to me that this time you're not, prove to me that this time you're not crying wolf. It's kind of like the boy that cried wolf story, right? So like you hear the person crying wolf and you go to investigate. And he does it once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. When he comes to you the 5th time, you're like, okay, you know what? Why don't you prove to me that I should actually investigate? Because I don't believe you. That is what probatia diabolica means. And I think, like, when it comes to the government, any type of government, actually, I think this is warranted. I think it's a healthy advice to believe. This is another Romanian saying. The government wants your well-being, so make sure that it doesn't take it away from you. Hey, my bonus is gonna be just fine. And I'm hoping your succubus sell big for you. 3 times salesman. Even when unemployment is high, the dude finds a way. Well, I'm glad you managed to make it out. Like a lot of people manage to make money during hard times, so I'm glad you're one of them. In the case of Kyle, it turned out that FBI had drone footage of the whole protest, but refused to turn it over, despite his legal team requesting it. It's not just that, man. But like what I found the most bizarre thing, okay, like this was the most astonishing thing regarding January 6th. They banned any type of video from circulating online. And I was like, but why though? It's not like the videos from Ukraine where you see carnage, or the ones from Israel, right, where it was with mangled bodies and stuff. Like, we're not talking about that. But every single type of video, like if it was related to January 6th, it was banned from social media. And now that they're releasing the footage years later, I'm like, oh, I see why. Oh, that's very interesting. You get to see a lot of interesting videos if you look at it, and it all of a sudden makes sense why they were banned. A large group of people can only be malevolent. Nah, that's not true. For instance, the Catalonian, I will give this to the Catalonians. Like, it doesn't really make much sense. Catalonia is this part of Spain, and I think it only happened recently. But I mean, there were how should I put them? Differences of opinion and social frictions between the Catalonians and the Spanish Empire. But all in all, like there wasn't that big of a talk of secession up until a couple of years ago, actually. And they wanted to have like a referendum. The thing is, like, I don't understand why they want to secede, because even if they do, they're still part of the European Union. I guess it's like they claim lower taxes or some shit, but whatever. Catalonia is actually a profitable region. My point isn't that. My point is that they wanted to have a referendum, even though it was illegal to be hosted, right? And the politicians pushed for it anyway. So the Spanish sent the police there. And the police was very professional. I mean, they managed to beat the protesters to an inch of their life. It takes skill, like, they didn't kill anyone. Not a single person died. And there were old people there as well. And the Spanish police was quite brutal. But you can have like a group of people that are peaceful. Yes, the Catalonians were peaceful. The police had a very interesting number by the end of it. It was, I don't know, I think it was like less than a fourth of police officers suffered injuries, while a significant number of Catalonians did go to the hospital. So the idea that the government does not have the greater good at heart is too scary for Westerners like them. No, I don't think it's about the greater good. Like, I do think that they understand that the government doesn't necessarily have the greater good. But they don't believe that the entire government can be corrupt, and they don't know what systemic corruption is, right? So they will say, well, all right, well, this case didn't go into the favor of corruption, so therefore you can't claim that the government is corrupt. It's kind of like saying, look, if you believe that Russia is corrupt, like, look, this guy that's associated with Putin got arrested, so how do you explain that? It's kind of like that. Or you know, if you think that Putin is lying all the time, well, in this situation where he told the truth, why do you believe him? It's like, come on. And I mean, look, the best way that I can try to have an argument with Dev, is to talk about Russia. Because he believes that Russia suffers from systemic corruption, and I do think it's an accurate and astute observation. But like, if you were to apply the exact same standard that you apply to the United States to Russia, you'd be like, okay, so Prigozhin, according to the Russian authorities, suffered a plane crash due to the fact that he picked up a grenade in the middle of his private jet. And according to Putin, this is due to the fact that he may have been high on drugs. Now, Putin doesn't have, like, the toxicology report of Prigozhin. Western sources are claiming that the blast didn't come from within the plane. Now, the thing is, like, there's no way for me to verify it, right? Like, I wasn't there, so I'm taking it on second-handed or third-handed information. But I do believe, and I'm pretty sure of it, like, if I was a betting man, I would put all the money I have on it, that Prigozhin was assassinated. Like, this is not even something that I struggle to answer, right? Like, if someone asks me, it's like, Prigozhin was assassinated. This is, right? Like it makes sense. I mean, I don't care what the Russian authorities have to say on the matter. This is, now again, like this is just my observation, right? Like, I'm not influencing world events or anything. Like, my opinion on the matter isn't going to change how the Russian system works or what the Western countries think about it. It's just like my personal opinion. I should be entitled to one, right? But if I was like Short Fat Otaku's way of viewing the United States, if I was like believing that, no, actually, hold on, the Russian government said so, so therefore it is, and I would be like, well, I demand proof. Like, how can you say he was assassinated? Unless I hear the phone call, unless you play to me the phone call where Putin is asking for the assassination, I don't believe it. And I'm like, come on. You know, like what more can I see? Invite Dev on for a pegging. Like what can I talk about it? Like, we disagree on the principle. Like, if you believe that the government is good and I believe that the government is evil, like, there's no point in continuing until we settle this debate, because it's kind of like interpreting a map, and you think that north is west, I think that north is east. Like, there's no point in trying to. Why is it every time you come up, I'm talking about you? Because literally yesterday, well, 2 days ago, was Trump getting struck down from the list on Maine. And I wanted to talk to you about this on the Archcast, but there's no fucking Archcast, so I'm actually upset about it. But what can you do? Maybe next week. Huh? Depends on Arch. I understand that he had to go and see a movie with a friend, so there's no Archcast today. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. But my point is, like, there's nothing to talk about because we disagree on the fundamental issue. I genuinely thought, you know, like, for once, instead of talking about my Ushikushi Sakubais, I actually stood there. I was on the toilet. Don't laugh about it. Like, greatest ideas come on the toilet. And as I was sitting on the toilet, you know, I took off my glasses. And I looked at the wall. There were no spiders on the wall that day, but I was, like, looking and I was like, but why is it that me and Dev constantly disagree? You know, like literally, in that second, before the boop, I was just, like, genuinely lost in thought. And I was like, but why is it, though? Because we're both, you know, political commentators. We've both seen a lot of shit. I mean, we are past the you know, the gullibility. Like we are well-read individual. Why do we disagree? And I think is that Canadians are masters of gaslighting and they gaslight themselves. But this is a cope, you know, like I wasn't really satisfied with this answer. I was like, well, fundamentally, he thinks that the government is good and I don't. I do believe that the government wants my well-being, and I need to make sure that it doesn't take it away from me. And with that mindset, we're never going to agree. And the thing is, like, you said something interesting. You said that, well, how can you say that nothing will change your mind on an issue? And my take was this. I am past the period of the Reddit atheist. Like, show me the evidence. I want to see the studies. Show me the research. Like, I have been doing this for more than 6 years. And you start to notice certain patterns. And when you notice certain patterns, you get like a worldview. You get like a vision of the world, right? Like you've seen this trend before. You experienced it before, and you know where the train is going. Like, you've seen many trains going down this railroad track, and you know where the railroad track ends. You don't need to see the evidence. You don't need to talk with the person from the locomotive. You don't, right? And, I understand that there's this saying that seeing patterns is the start of knowledge, but not the end of it. If I believe that the government is evil, and I'm wrong, what do I have to lose? Nothing, it's just my opinion. But if I believe that the government is evil and I'm right, well, at least I get to fight against it, at least I get to #resist. So that's my take on it. This is why I genuinely think we won't agree on this issue. And yes, like, there is literally nothing you can show to me. It's in the same idea that there is nothing that you can show to me that I would believe that Russia is not corrupt or that Prigozhin wasn't assassinated. The standard of evidence is way too niche, right? There may be things, but it's too niche to be taken into consideration. It's like, show me the call where Putin assassinated Prigozhin. It's that level of niche. Anyway. Right. Seeing patterns is the start of stereotyping. Well, you can stereotype properly and you can stereotype improperly. Like, so far I've been right. Again, like, if the stereotype is that if the social media bans something, which is legal to talk about, so we're not talking about, like, banning stuff that's illegal. No. Like, if something that you can go out and you can talk about it with no repercussions, you can't talk about it on social media, chances are, so far, almost every single example of this has turned out to be true. Anyway. Did you know? Oh, Lofty. Oh my fucking god. Lofty was another interesting individual. Came out to defend localizers. I don't know how he does it, though. Like, why does Lofty do this? And how does he do it is also interesting. Like, he finds... like, sometimes on the internet, there are certain individuals which do bad things. And they're being spiteful. And there's a tsunami of shit that the internet has coming their way. And sometimes the tsunami of shit is even within terms of service. Like, nothing illegal. It's just like criticisms, mockery, that type of thing. No violation of the TOS. And Lofty manages to figure out which one of these individuals are and defends them nevertheless. It's admirable in a way. I don't know why he does it, though. But, like, what does it take to defend a localizer? It's just baffling. It's baffling to me. When you go and you defend a localizer, it was, like, such a weird defense as well. It's like, well, how do you know he's a localizer? And I'm like, well, the man has localizer in his fucking profile. If I ever get into any trouble, I hope to God Lofty isn't the one defending me. Like, I would rather have Lofty on the accusation side. Lofty, if you're listening to me, all right? If I ever get canceled, I want you to be part of the canceller brigade. You would make that argument weaker. I would benefit if you're actually on their side trying to cancel me, because their argument is going to be so much weaker than if you are on my side defending me. Thank you, SRC. Didn't the United States Department of Justice decide to just drop the charges on Sam Bankman-Fried that involved political corruption using stolen customer money? And the reasoning was, well, People just want to move past this. See, I didn't know about the reasoning, but the reasoning seems very important. I didn't want to talk about it today on the Arshcast. That was another thing that was... Yeah, so like this in a normal, healthy country, like in my country, for instance, this would have been the talk of the day. Like you have a theft of epic proportions, and it's not getting persecuted properly. Like, what is going on? I want Dev's explanation on how that is not corruption of the DOJ. He will probably give it on the next Archcast. People are asking, like, who the fuck is Lofty? Lofty is a controversial figure, which has left-leaning takes, but he's not disingenuous. Like, I genuinely believe that Lofty, like Short Fat Otaku, they unironically believe the stuff they are saying, and this is why I respect them, right? If we look at Vosh or Hassan Piker, I don't think for a second that Vosh or Hassan Piker actually believes what they are saying. Like, I'm sorry, but I don't believe in fairy tales, you know? Like, even my immersion has limits. But with Lofty and them, though, they do believe. Raging Golden Eagle has a pretty good saying. The government is simply the biggest mafia family on the block. I like my saying better. Like, the government wants what's good for you, so make sure that it doesn't take it away. Well, actually, no. Likes your well-being. Yes, it likes your well-being, so make sure that it doesn't take your well-being away. But not ironically, like, I'm thinking about the European Union. Man, I don't know the last time they passed a legislation that made me happy. I mean, there used to be a time when, you know, governments, like even the Romanian government, like, sometimes passes a new tax code and it makes taxes a little bit more reasonable. Or they pass some legislation which actually helps people. But I can't remember the last time the European Union did that. I just can't. The only time that they were passing a legislation which would actually make me happy is when they wanted to remove the daylight savings, which is absolutely flabbergasting, the fact that we still have it. It's one of the most annoying things that exist, when you have to turn the clock back and turn the clock forward. Fucking hell. And they were like, you know what, we're going to remove that. And I was like, oh, thank God. Oh, finally. Oh, they're removing. They changed their mind. So the only time that the European Union actually wanted to do something useful for a change, they changed their mind. Last I remember was this summer to force corpos to make batteries removable from phones. Yeah, but like, you know, that's one of those things that sounds good on paper. Like, you're thinking, yeah, this is like a good idea, forcing corporations, you know, to do something good for the public. But then you realize, oh, the price of the iPhones go higher. Now I gotta pay more. Or the batteries, they're so expensive, you may just well buy a new phone. You know? Like when you try to mess with the corporate bottom line by forcing the market like this, all you're doing, though, is making so that the customer pays more. Like if they wanted to actually do something that I would like, would be to force phone companies to stop spying on you. Most of the iPhones and all of this nonsense. I got a message. Hold on. This one is interesting. Hey V, I'm DMing you because I don't know how people in your server would react. And I like to avoid getting banned for something stupid. But I recently saw your most video about convincing Short Fat Otaku about how... See, this is why I talk about you, Dev. This is why I talk about you. Like, if I was to talk about you and no one would watch, I would stop talking about you. Just stop being so interesting. So I was talking to Dev about how the US and Canada are corrupt. Look up a Democrat mayor named Tiffany. A mayor who actually is corrupt. She is the first female black mayor. What wasn't that the one from California? No, not from California. From Chicago. from Chicago, the one that during the pandemic, like during the measures of the pandemic, she went and got a haircut. And when people pointed out, it's like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, we can't get a haircut, but you can. And she was like, well, yeah, but like I'm a political figure. Like I'm an important politician. Gotta get a haircut. And I was like, well, can't argue with that logic. I mean, you're not important. Your mother is. She is. So apparently she's got a criminal record of stealing cars. Pay the police to be her personal bodyguard. I think I remember that, seeing it in the news. Yeah. Like there was a defund the police person, which was having like bodyguards and stuff out of taxpayer money. I can see the corruption in my own government as an American. Granted, it's in a different state, but it can happen here. Why can't it happen on a federal level? I don't fucking know. It's magic. Like, no, seriously, like it's not dev. Like, people think it's that. It's not dev, okay? A lot of Americans and Canadians, they literally do not believe in the concept of systemic corruption. I'm not talking about dev, just so you know. But there are people in academia, the wisest of you, the smartest of the Americans, with knowledge and wisdom that the mortal mind can never achieve. And they believe that America is systemically racist, systemically sexist, everything besides systemically corrupt. Like that just can't happen. You know, you can't have a university like Harvard where the president is doing plagiarism and then everyone tries to change the definition of plagiarism. Right? But here's the interesting part. I mean, this is like, again, the mindset I don't understand. My God, I can hardly wait for the new Archcast to talk with Dev about this, right? So you have the University Harvard. And the University Harvard has got its president accused of plagiarism. Right? Now, would it be fair for me to say, well, it's not systemic? It's not systemic corruption because, look, this student, he cheated at an exam and he got ousted for plagiarizing. The system is working. Look, like these guys, they got ousted for plagiarizing as well, didn't they? Sam Bankman-Fried, who once ran one of the world's biggest cryptocurrency exchanges. That's not even the news. The reason that Sam Bankman-Fried ran one of the world's biggest currency exchanges is because it was pushed by everyone. Like, it was pushed by people on television, it was pushed by influencers, it was literally pushed heavily onto the public, like strong economists, experts. It's like, oh yeah, no, like this cryptocurrency, blah. Apparently, he will not face another trial. He was found guilty of fraud and money laundering last month. Prosecutors said the strong public interest in the resolution of their case against the former billionaire outweighed the benefits of a second trial. He had faced 6 charges that had been separated from his trial. This included campaign finance violations, conspiracy to commit bribery, conspiracy to operate an unlisted money transmitting. The reason they probably dropped these charges, this is my opinion, is because they would actually have to investigate who was being bribed. Right? Like it takes 2 to tango. You can't just bribe someone. You need to have a person getting the bribe. I don't want to look into that. Yeah, it was pushed. It was like so many ads, e-celebs. It was people on CNN, prestigious economists. I mean, there's an entire compilation of videos that you can find online with people pushing his cryptocurrency. No conspiracy that. No conspiracy, yes. Who conspired? No one conspired. It just happened. Apparently there's like a video with Maxine Waters blowing him a kiss. It's kind of like Epstein, isn't it? Like Maxine Waters, right? Like the one with Epstein. Like she has been convicted for human trafficking humans to no one. Who is she? Who is she trafficking? No, we don't know. Yeah. It's the most interesting case of human trafficking, isn't it? Like humans are being trafficked. To where? To whom? We gonna look? No. I remember like there was another there was like another case in the UK also, like something that would have yielded negative results for the people in power. Giselle Maxwell. But yeah, and they were like, well, it's not in the public interest to know. Oh yeah. It was the ethnicity of the grooming gangs, and they had I think like the conservatives, they ordered an investigation, and once the investigation was done, they were like, well, it's not in the public interest to know. Literally, why do you care? How does it influence you? That was like the government way of going like, but how does it influence you? Hold on, I got like a really good picture for the how does it influence you meme. How does it affect you personally? Hold on, I got this excellent meme. Let's see if I. Oh, here we go. This is so fucking good, chat. I love it. Oh, I can't show it because... Yeah, naked people, I can't. It has like the 7 layers of hell, and at the bottom of the layer, it has my succubus going, but how does this affect you personally? Hold on, I'll show it. I'll find the way, and I'll still show it. Yeah, so I want you to imagine like the 7 layers of hell, right? And at the bottom, like after you see all the carnage and the degeneracy and everything bad that hell has to offer, you have her going like, but how does it affect you personally? Like this is like the epitome of the government, isn't it? It's like you see the Roman Empire collapsing. You see bad stuff happening outside the window. It's like, but how does this affect you personally? How does it? That is exactly what it's happening. I know. Before the game is released, you should have a meme contest. Win a free game or $100. Oh yeah, and before you get like all sorts of. The thing is, like, if you run something like that, if I were to make a raffle, and I was like, all right, well, if you win, you can get a free game or some shit. I am willing to bet there's at least like 5 or 6 laws and 12 terms of service that you violate. Why don't you think like more YouTubers do raffles? Like it's not that difficult, right? Like. It would be so cool. I would be like, all right, well, I'm going to hold a raffle, and I'm going to give like $20 to the person that does the best drawing or whatever. I mean, for me, it would be really good because I got engagement, I got everything, and then you find out that you're violating like 7 international laws about organizing raffles, and you realize that there's TOS violations and stuff. I mean, I don't know. I'll have to check it out, but I'm pretty sure like that there would be problems if you just ran a raffle. What does Ukraine matter? How does it affect you personally? Well, like I always loved the argument, right? Because the same people, like for instance, you're worried about inflation, or you're worried about the fact that you won't have a job when you finish university, right? And you're upset. You're like, well, I want the borders to be secure, or I want to. It's like, but how does it affect you personally? They will ask, and then they will talk about how LGBT rights aren't being upheld because like some people are upset about video games on the internet and they need more censorship to crack down on it. It's like a little bit disingenuous, isn't it? Like your entire ideology is like how my private and personal life affects you on a daily basis. No snake, dude. Yeah, anyway, I'll end it here. Wow, 400 people today. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Hopefully I will entertain you tomorrow as well. Well, actually, hold on. What is tomorrow? Tomorrow is New Year's. Yeah. I will probably have like a pseudo New Year stream. And it's kind of weird having one on the internet because you constantly go like, oh, the Happy New Year's to people in Germany. Happy New Year's to the UK. So, yeah, we'll probably do that tomorrow. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I'm going to go to upload the videos on my secondary channel, and